You demand cat? Well, then I shall go get cat. I will be right back and we'll get started then. So hold on. Let me go find Zilby. All right. Oh, I'm sorry, Isitsu. I've already gotten cat. Hold on. Let me reach down without Zilby jumping down. There we go. We have cat. Wait, where do you want to go? Don't go down there. That's the keyboard. Or you could, okay, you could bump the microphone. That looks good. All right. Well, we got temporary cat. Sylvie, you want to hang out? I accidentally closed the door, so now he's like feels that he might be trapped in here, which he is, uh, which might make him want to leave more, or not. Oh, but I also have a group of toys for him. All hail the great orange one. Yeah, that's about right. That's about right. Zilby, if you want to come and hang out, we got people who like you. He just is staring from the floor on the other side of the computer. Okay, well, if he comes and he hangs out anywhere where I can easily get a camera on him, I will do that. In the meantime, let's jump back into where we were. So we're continuing to work on the HTTP server challenge from CodeCrafters in Rust, and we're currently on concurrent connections. So from what I can tell, we've implemented get and post, and that was pretty much it for what we've done. Now, that's because we could add on to that and do like, put and patch and delete and other ones, but the verbs are all very similar to each other in that way. So I can totally understand why they don't want to necessarily go the other direction. Zilby's at a window, but he's at a lower window. And I'm afraid if I put a camera on him, I'll just end up also accidentally showing my neighbor's yard. And I don't want to dox them. So I can't get a camera on him yet. Okay, let's see. In this stage, you'll add support for concurrent connections. How well tested? Okay, so then the tester will create multiple concurrent TCP connections to your server. The exact number of connections is determined at random. After that, the tester will send a single GET request through each of the connections. Okay, so it's going to basically do them all simultaneously. Your server must respond to each request with the following response. So just a standard one, right? Like we just want it to be able to handle multiple connections at the same time. Now, if I wanted to show this off in a, like this is working way. So did you panic? You panicked. Why did you panic? CodeCrafters HTTP Rust, cargo run, address and use. Oh, what address am I using? 4221. I would have thought that was unique enough, but apparently I have another my other profile, I must have something running on 4221, but I'm not aware of that. Okay, so I think the best way for me to handle this would be to use an environment variable. And what I could do is I can listen to the environment variable, but then grab this out. So let's go into main, and we're going to say our port is going to be equal to, now you inspects an environment variable at compile time. I'm okay with doing this at runtime. So center env var, we'll call this port, and then I want to unwrap, or think unwrap or is fine enough. You need to be a string, huh? Okay, so 4221 I think is what it was. To owned you, we get that. Let's turn, do you need to be a number? Oh, you're just part of that string there. We'll need to format this, put the number in correctly. So we'll do a port. This might as well be a string, even though it would be really nice, I guess, if I turn this into a number. U32 might be a good idea. And then we will format this, throw in a port like that. You're happy. You're not happy until let's see. So this is it a result or an option? It's a result. Can I map a result, or is that only an option? Maps a result. to the OK value. Okay, so I can, absolutely. So this will be the stringified port, and I want a U32. Is it off of string, or so is it? Yeah, okay. Parse that, and then we'll unwrap or else do this thing. Oh, and now you need to actually just be a number. Excellent. And there we go. So now you should be able to figure out what it is. Wait a second. What do you return? Yeah, it returns a result. So I should be able to unwrap or it, right? Oh, I need to return a string from this, don't I? Well, that's silly. Hold on. If I don't do this unwrap or. Oh, it's an unknown unknown. Okay, so you need. Oh, are you upset because I closed the doors and trapped you in here with me? Okay, let me go let Zilby out. Or door will automatically open and he'll let himself out. Okay, so can I parse? Do you take a type like this? Can I just say U32? And then you need expected enum result U32 parser. Oh, are you thinking you're an I? Oh, wait, it needs to be a result? Now I'm confused with the unwrap. Okay, so map gives me, oh, it's a result. Oh, I don't like that at all. Okay, so if I take you out, okay, so this gives us that as a string, and then I want to maybe shadow this into a number. So we just do a port parse. Yeah, okay, so if I do this all together, like if I do it all together at one, it gives me a result, which isn't that great. If I do them one after the other, though, it's much better. So the map was screwing things up, which is unfortunate because the map also makes things a little bit nicer, in my opinion, except for that double result. That's not that nice. So you could use OK with and then. Oh, really? Okay, hold on. Let's try that. So if I do this, where you just say, we map, not here. Okay, here we map. We have our port. I want to port. Oh, and then instead of map. Oh, okay. I was thinking like afterwards. Calls OP. If the result, the only thing my brain is just going straight to the game dev term of like overpowered, but that's not OP. Coding Garden, hello. How are you all doing? And Coding Garden rated with a rate of 136. Welcome, raiders and Coding Garden. Got a raid and run. Well, have a great rest of your day, CJ. And I will hopefully I'll be able to see you at Startup Week. But awesome, yeah, great to have you here, everybody. Welcome. How you all doing today? What was CJ working on? I didn't know he was streaming this morning. My chat window is small, so I'm gonna have to scroll up to see what everybody was saying. Okay, we have Andrew Lane. Hello, how are you doing today? Alka, hello. Zero Turner, Connery 10, Kotali, and Obi-Wan Unomi. Hello, welcome everybody. Went over Express V5 and just answering questions. Wait, is Express V5 a new one? I haven't looked at Express in years. I don't even remember if the last project you're working on was a V4 or a V3 Express. But awesome, that's great. I'm glad that CJ was able to stream. I know that he's been really busy with the other job, but he streams a lot with Sentry stuff. So just released, nice. Well, someday I might take a look at that. But we have a lot of fun with Rust over here. So currently I'm working on a CodeCrafters challenge. CodeCrafters is this website here. It's a challenge website, so it's not exactly the same as some like the Elite Code or any of the other sites. It's like full challenges and full disclosure here. It's not sponsored, but it's partnership. So I do have an affiliate link for them. They gave me free access to the entire site. Previously, we did a build your own Git from scratch using Rust, and we did that completely. That's all up on YouTube in case you want to go watch that. Right now, we're working on build your own HTTP server. And then we're choosing to use Rust, but they have lots of other languages available. So like JavaScript, for example, Python, Go, things like that. And right now we are working on concurrent connections. Although I ran into a problem where apparently I'm reusing the same port, but their tests are, well, their tests require it to be on port 4221. So I'm needing to set up an environment variable so I can test on a different port locally, and then their code will test on 4221 in their environment. And we'll take a look at what that looks like as soon as we get this going. So currently, for those of you, out of curiosity, how many of you are interested / aware of like Rust code? And how many of you would like it to be more explained? Because I can easily do that. Wait, parse returns a result. That's the problem here. Oh, wait. Okay. Parse returns. Andrew, what editor is this? This is the Helix editor. It's a CLI editor. Think something like Vim or NeoVim or AstroVim or Emacs or something like that. But it's similar to Vim. You use the keyboard commands to sort of like move around. But it is written in Rust. It's like a brand new editor. It's still sort of like in pre-release form. It's nice. I like it a lot. The problem with and then on result is that it wants the error to be the same type. So if you chain OK on the result, then you can turn it into an option and use and then on that instead. So OK before. Oh, OK. So basically I do OK. So for those of you who aren't aware of Rust and what's going on, is like, what the heck is this? We don't have to do this in JavaScript. The result types are a little bit interesting. Also, hello. How are you doing? So result types in Rust is basically if something can fail, it's the Rust equivalent of throwing an error, because we don't have throw, or at least we don't have like a traditional type of throw, and we don't have a traditional catch either. So we don't really use blocks for that, but instead we use these result type things. And no, don't auto ask me to do that. So I want to take this environment and load this environment variable that I'm going to have up. Now that says, hey, it could fail. What if that environment variable doesn't exist? So it would throw an error, or the equivalent of throwing an error. So I have to handle that. So I was trying to use this and then. So if it's okay, and then do this other thing, but then this parse itself can throw an error, because what if it's not a string that can turn into a number? So I have errors within errors as a problem here. So what I can do here is I can say, hey, Rust, take this result here and turn it into an option. The other thing with Rust is that we don't have null types in Rust. Instead, we have this option, which might sort of feel that it's, just sort of like a one-to-one relation, but it's subtly different. Because it's an actual like full type and not sort of like a weird not type, it actually forces us to handle it. And of course, a option can be something or nothing. So what I'm doing is I'm saying, okay, if you're okay, so if it successfully loaded the environment variable here, which I actually see this as a potential problem here, because if this doesn't load that, I don't want it to fail. So I probably need to map you first. So we're going to get the raw string port. And no, wait. The OK is fine for this one. Won't that, if the environment variable doesn't exist, because it won't exist on the server, it will only exist here in local dev. Won't the OK turn it into a none? You unwrap or at the end if it was a none. Okay. And then that will give me then I can set the default at that point in time. Got it. Okay. So, okay, to turn this into an option here, that's going to have a string, and then do and after parse. You unwrap or okay. All right. So add an okay after parse as well. All right, this is going to be fun. So we do and then we take in. So this is the equivalent of a callback function. We call it closures here in Rust, but it's the exact same thing. And instead of a fat arrow, we just have vertical bars and then a space. It's syntax differences, but the same general idea. parse itself can return a result. So I need to convert that into the right thing. So we okay you. That makes you happy. And then this becomes an unwrap, or you need expected U32. So you need to be the right type. So there we go. Now we have this all done here. So we are correctly loading up report. If the environment variable port does not exist, we'll run this unwrap or command, and it will give us 4221 hard coded. Otherwise, I'll be able to say, see, this is sort of like slightly behind me. Hold on. I'll be able to say export port equals, let's do the 8000 series. Let's do like 8001. So if I do that, and now we do a cargo run, compiling, starting to listen. So this should be listening now on port 8001, which means I should be able to open up and do a curl. I'm doing a curl, sending the header blah blah to not 4221, but now 8001. And I got this back. That was loud. There's a garbage truck right outside the window. They're almost done. Okay, so excellent. We've got to the point where we can actually begin the challenge, or at least this specific section of the challenge, which is concurrent connections. So if I wanted to test you, we can try this in a couple different ways, right? So they're going to make multiple connections to our server, and then each of them send a GET request at exactly the same time. I wonder what's the best way for me to test this. I could sleep maybe. Yeah, okay, what if I sleep on a response? So here's, I have a response here like this. When we're sending the response out, we write out to the stream, okay, it's like HTTP 1, but if like before this, if I were to set like maybe a 5 seconds delay before I started writing anything back to the stream in response, maybe that would allow me to see if we have concurrently set this up, because if I send like two really quickly, the first one will be delayed by 5 seconds, and then the next one will be delayed by 10 seconds if it's in parallel. No, if it's what's concurrent, and what's the other word? My brain went blank there. My can't. I don't know. My brain's not working for that. I can't recall the right word. It doesn't really matter. We're gonna put a sleep in here. So one of the nice things about Rust, especially if you're coming from something like JavaScript, where a lot of things are asynchronous by default, this is not. We can just put this thread to sleep for however long we want. So we're gonna have a duration from seconds 5, and that's it. So I'm just going to sleep 5 seconds before sending a response out. So if let's do a cargo watch series. That's what it is. Thank you for that, Acid Spark. Okay, so I'm listening. Any changes I make will now work. I'm doing cargo watch, which is very similar to, what was it back in JavaScript land? It's been way too long since I've used it. I forget what the tool is everybody used for like auto rerunning your code. All right, so if I call this again, we wait for 5 seconds, and then it's going to respond. Great, perfect. Now I want to move that up here, and let's do a new window. Move that down there, and so I want another curl like this. And so can I do? It's hard to count. It's hard to count exactly on what that is. Oh, is it time? Yeah, so I think I can do time curl, right? Yeah, and so that gives me 5.024 seconds was how long this took. Okay, perfect. So if I do a time here, and we should see 5.022 seconds, and this should be 10 or so seconds, 8 seconds or so. Okay, good enough. Now, if I make this concurrent, we should be able to see that number go down to like the 5 seconds or around there. So let's see. How do we want to do this? What do I've got? So like we have our main library code. I'm starting to listen. We receive the incoming message. I don't need to print that out anymore. I want to, okay, so yeah, I get the stream, get the request. Now, can I have an incoming listener on different threads here? So like maybe, can I clone the TCP listener? Because if I can clone this, I can throw it into different threads and then it just works. And maybe that's all I need to do. And if it doesn't work, I can throw this into an arc mutex. Okay, can I do a listener try clone? Creates a new independently owned handle to the underlying socket. The return TCP listener is referenced to the same socket that this object references. Both handles can be used to accept incoming connections. An option set on one listener will affect the other. Okay, so that sounds like, yes, I can just hand a clone of this listener to whoever I want. Okay, so if I create a block here, we're going to do, let's just create a new listener. You don't have a real clone, so we have to try clone, which means if this fails, okay, so I'm just going to context, and we're going to say we're cloning listener and question mark, which is basically going to take the result from this context. Sorry, it's going to take the result from this try clone. Context adds a message to it, and then the question mark then sends it out the result immediately without running the rest of the code. Sort of like an actual throw, but different. It's all sugar syntax. Okay, I create the listener like that. Now I want to run all of you in a thread. So what thread do I have? We're not using Tokyo, so let's see. Let's just use standard thread. Is it create thread? Oh, no, it's spawn thread. Okay, so I spawn the thread, which okay, our join handle there. Is it a block or it's a function. Okay, so it's gonna be like that. And then I want to take all of you and throw you in here. Okay, so now we're going to create a stream from the listener. I want to take this listener. I want to move it in here. So it's now available inside of here. But this won't work anymore because the question mark is now trying to go out of here as opposed to out of here. So we probably just need to straight up doing a crash. That's what I'm thinking. We could just straight up panic. So I can we can just unwrap. Unwrap is the equivalent of just letting it crash. If it's okay, it's good. Otherwise, don't work. Okay, and then I have this handle, and I wonder if I want to create. Yeah, so we're gonna want to create a bunch of threads, aren't we? Praddick Shift. Hello, how are you doing today? I'm using a Logitech HD 1080p, which probably on the back of the camera is like the model, and I forget exactly what it is. But yeah, that's what I'm using. A Logitech something. The front of it doesn't have the model, unfortunately. Tokyo spawn go burr. Yeah, it does, but we don't have Tokyo. And I'm gonna try to avoid using Tokyo for this, just for the sake of the challenge. That being said, creating a bunch of this will create. No, is that right? Because like for each one of these is a new incoming stream, isn't it? So actually, I want to create a new thread spawn here, don't I? So I'm doing this in the wrong place. I probably want to do this here. Is that right? I would imagine so. So for each listener incoming, I want to send this stream and have it go into a thread and then do the thread and do all the work in there. So if I have my thread handle, so let's spawn a thread, we're going to have to move the stream inside of there. Let's see, there's the join handle like that. Okay. And then that just does the thing. Now at the very end, I need to join the handle. Where do I want to join the handle? I could join it here. I could just say handle.join. Unused result. Can I I can't context this. Okay, so then I'm not in a closure. Can I just do that? No. I'll just unwrap right now. Okay, so the server's running. And if I run this seems like a bad idea. Oh, come on. What's the worst that could happen? I screwed up. I screwed up the run. I did up arrow when I didn't need to do up arrow. So I have not made it concurrent. That makes the thread pointless. It does indeed make the thread pointless because, so how does this work? Is the listener comes in one after the other, right? That makes the threads pointless since you're not going to spawn the next one until this one is, the join is basically screwing this up. If I remove the join completely, does the thread still run? I know that you don't need to join it on a Tokyo spawned thread, but I can't remember on a normal thread. Let's find out. Oh, yeah, okay, so that just works as to be expected. Okay, so I don't need to join it at all. We're fine. Game Stylist, hello. Yes, I do read YouTube chat, although sometimes I do miss it. Now, so joining on threads is one of those things where like you're basically saying, okay, now I want you to like finish and do the thing. Now you can remove the try clone. You're right, because we're just using that one there. We don't need the block here. So that makes you happy. Now I'm creating a new thread for each stream. So we have to make a decision. Do I create an unlimited number of threads? Because that's what's going to happen. Like if I have an unlimited number of incoming streams, I create an unlimited number of threads. Not necessarily a bad thing, but we can run out of, resources, potentially. I could create a thread pool, which isn't too hard to create, and just like throw that into there as soon as it's done, and then we join. Or we could just ignore it and just say, hey, this is fine. We do probably need to get rid of these threads eventually at some point in time. When a thread ends, so like after I send a response, this is done. Does the thread actually just like drop? I think it drops, right? Game Stylist, you have a question to ask. What happened to the LMS of mine? The LMS still exists. It's still up and running. I still looking at of people who are using it. I still get some people who are going on and looking through it. Yeah, so I don't know what the repercussions of not joining is. I think we're fine, especially for this challenge. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I'll go ahead and underscore that so we don't have a warning on it. And then we should be good. I don't know how to like stress test this enough to really see the ramifications of the handle not being joined, because I don't think I can send enough requests to really have it be a problem. Do I consider it a success? Yes, I consider that a success. The LMS that it was. And then I have some design changes and sort of like some things to do for like a second iteration. And then I'm also like potentially working with some other groups that want to do some education type things through the LMS, which might require a design change, but I'm sort of like finding out whether or not that's going to be a reality before I do something like that. Where did I host the site? I mean, Rust server and all the parts. There's no Rust server for the LMS. For the LMS, I am the entire backend. I'm just using something like Hasura. I have that hosted in an ECS system on AWS. And then the front end it's all just Rust U, but that's compiled into WebAssembly, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, all that stuff. I throw that into S3 and use CloudFront. I find that that's the easiest. Okay, let's check. I have some warnings. Let's get rid of these. Let's see. What are you? You are in my request. Oh, I'm still not using protocol, so I'll just allow dead code. Oh, and you know what we should probably do? Should probably get rid of this sleep, because that was only for testing purposes, even though that would be hilarious to leave in there. Okay, so we're good to go there. Let's commit this and see if we pass. Okay, so you are added threads to the HTTP server. And with this git push, we will now see whether or not this passes. It'll take them a little bit while to get the container. I'm guessing it's a container up and running and then test it, but it shouldn't take too long. Jim, hello. How are you doing today? It has been a while. How much does it cost per month? Not very much, less than $5 per month, I believe, because S3 and CloudFront is extremely cheap. Well, okay, so I shouldn't say less than $5 a month for everything, because I also have a hosted database. I have the ECS things, like including the back end and the front end. It's like closer between like 20 and 30 a month, but that's mostly the hosted database, which I also use for other things together. And database is the most expensive part of it. Everything else is really cheap. Okay, test passed. Excellent. So mark stage as complete.